Hello and welcome to this edition of holiday special of Pop and Scott Talk Baseball. Uh, we're not recording till Monday, and I'm kind of glad because we've had a lot of stuff go on the last couple of days. Uh, man, I'm going to let you just jump right into it and start telling us what's been moving around, and we'll talk about it as we go.
Well, both of us are wearing our Oakland Athletics hat because we're kind of honoring Rickey Henderson, who passed this week at 65 from complications from pneumonia. He arguably, was probably the best leadoff hitter that ever played the game.
Yes.
I don't see anybody else that. I mean, been some great leadoff hitters, but
and his contribution to the game is outside the game as well. He's a great personality even after retirement. I've talked about it on my other shows. Being a card collector, he's at shows and stuff. He was a great ambassador for the sport. He never was, as much as Rickey liked talking about Rickey, he also talked to other people. He would take a minute and speak to people getting autographs and stuff like that. So
Vita Blue
Rickey was great. Rickey was great for his stories, but he was, like somebody said, he had to pass away in his sleep because he would have outran the death if it was during the day.
Well, he also was the play when he was on your team. You loved him, and the enemy hated him because he was so flamboyant. He used to hit the home run and then do the little pull on his shirt.
Yeah,
and then it was
the hops.
Ruben Sierra. I think it was Ruben Sierra copied that.
Yeah, and he would do the hopping out of the box when he hit it. And, I mean, who else would steal and break Lou Brock's record and stand up?
Well, I mean,
the greatest.
Vita Blue, after everybody retired, they had a reunion at, Oakland A's, and Vita Blue told him, he said, "You're the most colorful ball player I ever played with, and I'm not talking about the color of your skin."
Right. I mean, it was exciting to watch him. Because he just didn't, he didn't have to get base hits to be exciting to watch and stuff. And Rickey was one of those guys during my growing up that was like, a god emblem to me for baseball. That when Rickey was up, you stopped and watched.
Yeah, everybody watched when Rickey Henderson came up or when he was on base.
Yeah, on base anywhere. Yeah.
Well,
he was a great outfielder. I mean, let's don't take that away from him either.
He was. They're playing a home game. He wanted to set the record for the steals at home. So the problem was he came up to bat. The catcher was hit. The guy hitting ninth walked. So he's on first base. The guy, couldn't steal. He couldn't rob a bank. He was so slow. So Henderson was up to bat. He walks. No, he gets a base hit. So he's on first, and the catcher's on second. Billy Martin signals out to the catcher, "Get yourself picked off. Get yourself picked off." Well, the opposing manager didn't want to do that. So finally, the guy kept getting far enough off the bag. The pitcher threw back there, and they tagged him. So next pitch, Rickey Henderson flies to steal second base. The swipe tag is late, and the umpire goes, "You're out." Well, Rickey gets up. He's screaming because his mother's in the stands. Lou Brock is in the stands waiting for him to break the record. Billy Martin, of course, comes out there and gets screaming, gets thrown out of the game. And the umpire, later on, it turned out that the umpire knew exactly what he was doing. He said, "If you're going to play your game, I'll play mine." Because the umpire did not like that deal about the guy getting deliberately picked off so Rickey Henderson could set that record. He told him, "If you can play your game, I can play mine." But that's just one of the things. But
the memory, of course, for me is just through a child's eyes, right? I mean, 1980 was his rookie season, and I was that season I would have been in baseball. I didn't turn 9 until October, so I'd have been 8 during that season. Yeah. So, through a child's eyes, was the way.
Well, 1982 is when he stole the 1,406 bases. He was amazing. I mean, he was a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I mean, he could hit with power. He could hit. And he was a great fielder. People forget how good a fielder he was. The only weakness, he didn't have the best arm from the outfield, but
right.
They would run, a lot of teams would run on him, but that was about the only thing. He didn't have quite the arm that other people had. He set the record and for stolen bases, and nobody's come close. Not close. He had 1,406, and I guess the next guy's got like 980. So he was something else, and we've had a lot of former players and managers and stuff like that pass in the last year, and but I mean, it's just like all of us. We're getting old. I said, in 10 days, I'll be 79. So
right.
I'm getting. I know what it is. It's getting up there.
Right.
Before we get to all the trades and everything, I have to. MLB and the powers that be did a study.
Uh-oh.
They did a study. Now, they came out with the results. This is the third study I've seen in the past 7 months or 8 months where different colleges and different. The reason that there's so many injuries in pitchers is velocity and spin rate. I'm going, right. We've been talking about this for a year. A year. We've been talking about how everybody's getting hurt because they're trying to throw the ball too hard.
Two guys that barely graduated high school and a college dropout. I mean,
MLB paid these assorted geniuses to come up with it. So I'm going, we're not the only ones, but we've been talking about this for at least a year.
Yeah.
The spin rate, and they don't take enough time off during this between seasons and that. They rest up, get their bodies back, rest up. I'm going, how can they do this? I mean, they paid the money and they came out, oh, we got this. It's a new thing.
Yeah.
The velocity is part of the problem. Please. So anyway, I just thought I had to get that out of the way because in about 2 months, another clown car will pull up to the curb and the guys will get out with another report saying the guys are throwing the ball too fast. So just wanted to bring that up. Okay, there's a bunch of stuff here. The Atlanta Braves, they've acquired right-handed pitcher Davis Daniel from the Los Angeles Angels for left-handed pitcher Mitch Ferris. Ferris was in their bullpen last year. They also obtained outfielder Brian Dela Cruz.
I saw that.
Yeah, from Miami, and he played for Miami and Pittsburgh in 2024. The Red Sox traded infielder Emmanuel Valdez, 25 years old, to Pittsburgh for right-handed pitcher relief pitcher Joe Vogotsky. I guess. Hello.
Can I buy a vowel?
Yeah. That's all he's got is vowels. The Orioles signed right-handed pitcher Tomoyoku Sugurano, 35 years old, 1 year, $13 million. Oh, that's their big signing. Whoop-de-doo. Now, the Yankees, they got Cody Bellinger in cash from the Cubs. They got $5 million from the Cubs and Cody Bellinger. They're going to put him in center field. The Cubs received right-handed relief pitcher Cody Poteet, who had a .380 earned run average last year in 24 outings for the Yankees. Washington picked up right-handed pitcher Mike Soroka, 1 year, $9 million. He pitched for the White Sox last year and had a .470.
When he was with the Braves coming up, he was a big name that really hasn't.
Well, he had surgery. He had Tommy John, just like everybody else.
He's got upside, so let's see what happens with that.
All right, now the Mets, they signed right-handed pitcher Griffin Canning, 28 years old, 1 year, 5.25 million. He also came from the Angels. A lot of
Yeah.
people, the Angels evidently a very good place to be from. So
yeah. Well, it's like they can't pitch, so let's get their pitchers. It's like what?
Sean Manaea, they brought him back. He pitched for them last year, 3 years, 75 million. The Phillies picked up Max Kepler, 31 years old.
And me and my friends were talking that was a must, was to get that left-hander, and that's not. I mean, it sounds like a lot of money, but it still leaves money on the table for the Japanese pitcher that they're still talking to. So,
right. Well, now if they needed that left-hander because with their rotation as it is now, he's it.
Yeah,
he's the only left-hander.
Yeah, but he's going to be the number 2 guy right now.
Is he going to be behind Senga?
Yeah. So he was number 2 behind Severino last year. So
yeah, it's too bad he couldn't have kept him. All right, now Max Kepler, he played for Minnesota for 10 years, and the Phillies picked him up for 1 year, $10 million.
My Philly friends were kind of talking about it, but I'm like, that for one, he's solid in the outfield, solid, and he can hit. I mean, you can't have everybody hitting 45 home runs. I mean, but Max Kepler, he's going to hit you 20.
Well, the other thing about Max Kepler is he's great in the clubhouse. He's a great guy. Every team he's been on,
right?
Yeah. And I mean, he's respected because he is a ball player.
Right.
He just doesn't get up there and swing from the heels. He's a ball player.
Yeah.
The A's signed third baseman Gio Urshela, 1 year, from Atlanta by way of Detroit.
Right.
He was released last August. The Astros, they wound up with Christian Walker. Now he's 33 years old, and they gave him a 3-year, $60 million deal.
Right.
He's a Gold Glove first baseman that can hit.
A huge step up from where they had first base last year, because the White Sox guy didn't pan out for him. But that leaves the one and only first baseman on the board, and it's looking stronger and stronger every day. He's going to sign with the Mets, but who knows? I'm not going to.
Well, you're talking about Pete. And now, I mean, it's the way everything is falling out. That's about the only place he can go.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. And the only thing is,
not going to pay the money.
They don't want to give him 8 years. That's the deal breaker right now. It's the 8 years.
I wouldn't give him 8 years.
Yeah,
I wouldn't.
No, they do. I think they want a 5. If you do, make 5 with 3 repeating team. Make the last 3 where the team has the choice to keep you or not.
There's a team option.
Yeah.
All right. Now, where was that? Okay, here we go. Boston left-handed pitcher Patrick Sandoval, 2 years, $18.25 million.
Yeah, Boston is I don't know how quiet, maybe not quiet at all, but they are putting together a rotation with that young team they have. Watch out in the American League East.
Now,
Baltimore had a couple of years and they haven't done anything.
Yeah. Can somebody tell me where this young man came from? The Angels.
Yeah, the Angels.
Now, he came from the Angels, but he had Tommy John surgery, so he probably won't pitch till after the All-Star game. But they picked him up. The New York Yankees, they had right-handed reliever Fernando Cruz and catcher Alex Jackson from the Reds for catcher Jose Trevino. And the Reds got Trevino because their manager likes defense in his catcher. So then the Yankees also signed Paul Goldschmidt, 1 year, $12.5 million to take. They let one old first baseman go and picked up another old first baseman.
Yeah, but this first baseman, well, first off, he's a right-hander, but he still has juice in the tank. I mean, they're not getting him to hit home runs. He's going to bat 6th, 7th, 8th in that somewhere like that.
And his defense is as good as Rizzo's, or maybe better.
Right. And that's some veteran leadership on that Yankee team that I think they're kind of missing a little bit. They need somebody that when the heads start dropping, because last year was the first year I seen Yankee players look a little disgusted.
Yeah.
Most of the time they are top of the world, but Paul Goldschmidt will know how to get them going. And this is time for Goldschmidt to be on a big stage, because this poor guy is to me, first time. I think he's a first ballot Hall of Famer, but nobody really knows of him. He's been in so many All-Star games, and he's just played on teams where
back to Rickey Henderson played in 10 All-Star games. So.
Right. Yeah, it's just it's playing for Arizona, then St. Louis not being great the last couple.
He went to St. Louis about the time St. Louis stopped being viable. He and Arenado made two of the best one of the best corner infields in baseball, but they played on a team that didn't pitch very well and didn't hit very well.
Right, because with both of them now, neither one of them are going to hit 30 home runs. You're looking at 13, 14, 15 home runs, 70, 80 home run RBIs. They're coming with a glove, and they're coming with experience, and that's what I was. I would like to have Nolan Arenado or the Mets playing third, but the Mets need another bat in the lineup, because Soto, as much as Soto is a bat, he's more a number 2 hitter now. He takes so many walks that kind of puts him at the number 2 slot, and I feel like they need another hitter. And Christian Walker going to the Astros, I feel that's a great fit. The Astros feels like this is going to be another year for them.
Well, if they can get their pitchers back.
Right.
They had 12 guys on the IR last year. And
that's because they've had so many innings on those arms. The Phillies, same way. I'm down on the Phillies this year because the 3 big horses at the front of their rotation has thrown so many innings in the last 3 years. I feel like somebody or 2 of them are going to run out of gas. It looked like Nola did at the end of last year. I feel like, I think they're going to take a step back.
Well, they may take a step back simply because they're in a killer division with Atlanta and the Mets.
Yeah, but Atlanta's just good because they just know how to put it together.
Atlanta's good because their organization has been good.
Yeah, I feel like, too, they've lost some pitchers. I'm waiting to see. And the Mets is still not – you signed Soto. Soto doesn't pitch. We still need an 8th guy. We need an 8th inning guy. We got the left-handed bullpen guy. We need one more pitcher from somewhere to bolster our rotation.
Well, no,
we need another solid 2 or 3.
If your owner's not afraid to throw the money around, Corbin.
That's what I'm waiting for. Yeah, and we're still got a lot of what do we got? About 8 weeks, 10 weeks to pitchers and catchers. So.
Oh yeah, pitchers and catchers in February, middle of February. So anyway, first baseman flying around like crazy. Carlos Santana went to Cleveland. 1 year, $12 million. He won a Gold Glove with the Minnesota Twins. He's going to Cleveland to play first base because Cleveland traded their first baseman, Josh Naylor, to the Diamondbacks, who lost Walker. So now the Diamondbacks needed a first baseman, so they got the one from Cleveland. So
the other Naylor is still with Cleveland. I think he's the catcher.
The catcher.
John Naylor hasn't missed a meal in a few days. He's a big boy. I could say that because I'm a big boy, but And
then the Diamondbacks gave up Slade Knesset, right-handed pitcher, and a competitive balance round 8 choice, whatever that means, draft choice. Philadelphia, they picked up left-hander Jesus Luzardo. That he's going to help them.
Jesus Lizzie.
He's 27 years old. They got him from he was from Miami, and they got infield minor leaguer catcher outfielder Paul McIntosh, and then they got them from Miami, and they gave Miami shortstop Starlin Caba, who was their number 4 prospect.
Yeah,
and,
so I talked to Philly fans. Yeah, I have some very strong Philly friends, and they said that shortstop is a very, 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 AAA type, defense. Not only a high defensive shortstop that is learning to hit, and if he can get it together.
Well, Miami needs a shortstop,
right? And they said he is top notch in the field. So
well, they also gave up their 23rd choice, their 23rd prospect, number 23, outfielder Emarion Boyd.
Yeah, I think that Luzardo pickup shows where. So he'll be their number 4 starter probably, but that also shows you what I was saying earlier. Maybe they're thinking too, we got a lot of innings on these guys and they're not getting younger. Nola is not a young man. Wheeler is probably 30, 31-ish. So, they still have Suarez, right? Ranger Suarez.
Yeah.
So, I think that was to really bolster.
Oh, you might. I get you might not have heard this, but the Nationals offered Pete Alonso a 5-year contract. They weren't going to give him 8. They offered him 5.
But didn't they pick up a first baseman?
Yes, but they could. When he turned them down, they picked up Nathaniel Lau.
Yeah, from Rangers.
From the Texas Rangers.
He was born in Norfolk.
In Texas, got right-handed pitcher Robert Garcia, who had a .422 run average last year. Outfielder Jock Pederson, who keeps this guy, he's amazing. He's 32 years old. He had 275 last year.
He's not a bad player.
Yeah, he had 515 on-base percentage. He signed with the Texas Rangers for 2 years, $37 million.
He's just he's a personality.
Oh, and, there you go. Yeah, we got the pearls. Remember the pearls when he was with Atlanta?
Yeah, and he brings excitement wherever he goes. He's just that guy that can't lock down an outfield position. You know what I'm saying? He's always
they're going to use him as a lot as a DH too.
Right, a 3.5 player. Like he's like he can't just be the third outfielder or the permanent DH. It's that poor guy. He just seems like to be always the odd man out.
And here in Pittsburgh today, signed Andrew McCutchen. They don't have to pay him anything because he's on Social Security. So
right.
He's 38. He's 38 years old. He got a 1-year, $5 million contract. And Boston this afternoon signed Walker Buehler.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
1 year, $21 million.
Yeah.
So I mean,
that's what I say. Boston. This
last week,
Baltimore is going to be sitting there wondering what happened. They're going to wonder.
What did I say last week? They're going to wind up third in that division. They're going to be behind Boston, the Yankees in Boston.
And it's not even going to be close. And they're going to sit there and go, "We were there. What happened?
You didn't sign anybody.
Right.
You didn't sign any pitching.
You have the money. It's not like they got a poor owner. I don't understand. You have to not get rid of, but you have to come off of some of that talent in the minor leagues, and they don't seem to want to. You have to give some to win. You have the parts. You're missing a few things. I know they're getting their 2 studs back in the bullpen, but my God, you got to get to them.
Well, the other thing, if you think about Boston, if Bueller is completely healthy next year, and he and Crochet,
Right.
that's a heck of a duo right there.
And that young team they got in the field was not that their hitting kept them in the ball games last year.
You know what? But they have one glaring weakness, and I saw it last year, and it reared its ugly head game after game after game.
Fielding.
Defense is horrible.
Yeah. They're like a softball team. They can hit, but their fielding is not that great.
Their defense was awful. They were worse. They were 32nd in baseball.
Right.
30th or 30th.
I'm sitting here going, I've been watching them, and I'm like, yeah, Boston. No, I mean, their fans. You could try to rebuild in Boston all you want. The fans ain't gonna have it. But man, they made a run late in the year, and then they pick up a couple of pitchers, and I'm like, well, wait a minute here, And as a Baltimore fan, I want them to. You got to. It's fun watching the National League East right now because that's a chess match. Oh, you want to pick up a pitcher? We'll pick up a pitcher. Oh, that two teams picked up a pitcher? We're going to pick up a 5-star outfielder, and a lower pitcher. Good luck. That the National League East is like, you pick up, we're going to get somebody. It's a chess match. And Baltimore is just not participating. I don't know what's going on. There's an off-season, Baltimore. Wake up.
Yeah, well, I mean, they didn't do anything. It went to trade deadline. Oh, look what we did. We went and got 2 of Philadelphia pitchers that Philadelphia wanted to get rid of.
Right.
I mean, and one of them they sent down to the minors.
And I mean Corbin is asking. Corbin Burns is asking for what, $250 million for?
It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's just he's not going to pitch till the All-Star break with that. I'm still trying to figure out why Trevor Bauer hasn't been offered anything. He said he'll take the league minimum and come in for 1 year. If I was the Mets,
last I saw with Trevor Bauer was he was signing with another team in Mexico. Might have been the one he played with last year.
Right. I don't get it. He is. Why wouldn't you take a chance? I don't get it.
I'm telling you, the league blackballed him under the table. Under the table, he's been.
Got to be. But man, most of the time, if you can get a player for league minimum that won a Cy Young, that still has juice, it's just like, why wouldn't you? I don't understand. Screw the league. I want to win. I don't get it. I don't. But like you said, it's probably one of those unwritten things right now that 20 years from now, an owner or somebody, a son or somebody will come out and say what's going on. But who knows? To me, the league owes him big time for kicking him out without sufficient evidence. So. But didn't mean to interrupt you with my little title.
No, you're right. But I mean, you've talked about him before. You've been a big advocate for him, but
yeah, I don't like the things that he does.
If it was if it was up to some of the teams that are hungry for pitching, every team's hungry for pitching.
Yeah.
I mean, the Oakland A's would give him a year. At the minimum, the Oakland A's would. Pittsburgh would. These teams that don't want to spend money, they would. But the problem is, I think the league is blackballed. The league has said no, he's not going to be in the league again. He's, not with even though the deal with that gal was proved to be all false. There was stuff with other women that weren't, and they weren't as bad, and they weren't. But it was, and then he also.
Like I said, I don't agree with his lifestyle.
He also has an attitude problem.
Right, I don't agree with. But let's be real. Winning fixes everything. I mean, I've seen a lot worse. There's a lot worse in the Hall of Fame. It's like
guys on drugs, wife beaters, and everything else in the Hall of Fame.
Right, and it's just let's be real here for a second. We're talking about baseball. We're not talking about being Boy Scouts or whatever. We're talking about baseball. You're
not going to be a counselor in high school. I mean,
right. So
anyway,
you take him on. You go. You got one chance. You got the league minimum. None of it's guaranteed. Here's your chance. And to me, when he was with the Dodgers, he didn't do anything wrong. It's up, for the allegations. And then all this one, he was being a model player at that point to me.
he was, yeah.
So, he was maturing. Harper is not the same Harper as he was with the Nationals. This guy's a leader. Players mature into positions. Machado matured. He's the leader of that Padres. Go ask who the leader is in that Padres locker room. I'll tell you who it is. Machado.
Yeah.
He will chew you out in a dugout, right? Because he wants the ball. He's matured.
Well, a few weeks ago, we were lamenting the fact that nobody was signing, and in the last 2 weeks, people went absolutely crazy.
Yeah, this has been
nuts.
Different offseason, better selection of players this year. I said that last year. It just wasn't.
Some teams are more willing to spend the money this year.
And that's, you know what, Dad? I don't think it's a lot of money. When you start looking at some of the, like, Manaea had his best season, right, ever for the Mets last year. He signed a 3-year, $75 million contract, left-handed premier pitcher. To me, that's not crazy. Not in this day and age.
No.
It's crazy if somebody handed it to me tomorrow on the street, but this guy, he's not doing what I do. I think all the contracts are crazy, but really that's kind of where he's at. I mean, $25 million a year for a left-handed premier pitcher, that's not bad. I mean, that's actually a team-friendly contract, I feel like. But even when you break down Soto's crazy contract over how many years and how much of it was up front, when he signed his name, how much he got that day, the back end of when you start looking at it, whatever, 15 years from now, what he's getting paid might not seem that crazy. So I don't know. The contracts are nuts as it is, but you got to take.
Well, and they can redo the contracts and give them another bonus, and then that make it less that they have to pay them down.
Right, and it's just I don't think the contracts are crazy. Bueller, I don't think got it crazy with Boston. I think last year some of those owners, by not signing those two pitchers, kind of showed like we're taking back control of this from Morris and these crazy guys, and we're not going to just pay you because you're the two best pitchers out there this year. We're just wait till next year when there's better players. We're going to pay you what you deserve, not what is out there, comparable speaking.
Well, the one thing last year proved with the late signing of the pitchers is that if you're going to sign a pitcher, you better sign him before spring training starts.
Mm-hmm. And pitchers know that. They saw what happened.
Because they saw what happened with Montgomery and Snell last year. They took them half a year, and Montgomery never did pitch like he did in the playoffs. He was
hurt. He got hurt.
And then in Snell, it took him half the season before he caught on. So,
yeah, I mean
the pitchers need the spring training. To get
they could go to their high schools and pitch and all that stuff and get throwing in, but it's not the same. You're not getting instructions. You don't have the same, your coach, your team. You're not getting in playing shape.
Well, that's what spring training's for.
Yeah, and I mean these guys stay in shape year round now, but it's different. We all know when you get to that and get the reps in and you get in a rhythm of the season, all that helps. So I think they're catching on with that. And this year you're seeing that with especially the pitchers, a lot of pitchers signing here in the last few weeks. I don't know how many more pitchers are out there. I think we're going to see more trades going on. I really think like the Miamis, I think Tampa is I'm not going to be surprised if Toronto starts sending out some of their players here. You haven't heard much from them. Guerrero's on his last season. So, and he's been rumored to trade talks. So,
Well, he laughed at their proposal. They offered him a contract or extension, and he laughed at it.
right. Yeah. If he has another good season like he had last two, he should laugh at it. I mean, he's a young man that's going to get a payday. One that his daddy's going to wish he was playing at this time. But that's the baseball we're in now. It's you can't look at the money and go, nobody's worth that. I agree, but that's what they're getting paid, and you have to take it with a grain of salt. Not everybody can play the ball game. But you got anything else for us, Dad?
No. I just my yogiism for the day is he once said if the other teams win, it could cause trouble for us. And somebody asked him, what did that mean? And he said, well, if they don't win, there's no trouble at all.
That's right. That's right.
There's some logic in there somewhere. I mean, he has if you really think about what he's saying, it makes sense, but it's when the way he phrases everything, it's just crazy.
Right.
It is funny. It's fun.
Yeah. Well, we're going to leave y'all with that, man. Hope everybody has a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Oh, yeah. Merry Christmas, guys.
And I want everybody be safe. It's bitterly cold in most of the country right now. So be safe out there and love one another during this holiday season. And until next time,
There's Sam.
see ya.